the 8 bills that were signed by the President on the 15th of October, the dark Wednesday that engulfed our nation when we lost our beloved Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And we want to set the record straight that the President's action was fully by constitutional provisions, specifically Article 115 of the Constitution, which requires the President to either assent to a bill or refer it to Parliament within 14 days of its presentation. Failure to act within this period would automatically result in the bill being deemed assented to by operation of law, and as well, it would have shown as if the President is not doing his job within the Constitution. It's therefore important to emphasize that the signing of the bills on that particular day was not a political maneuver nor an act of insensitivity during a period of national mourning. Rather, it was a constitutional obligation that had to be fulfilled within the legally prescribed time frame. The timing was purely coincidental with for the 14-day deadline. It so happened to have also fallen on the same day that we lost our beloved Prime Minister, former Right Honorable Raila Odinga. So it was purely a coincidence. It was a pre-plan that the signing of those bills were to be done on the same day. And many Kenyans don't even understand what were those bills that were signed on that day. I'll just give a highlight, and then I will focus more on the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Amendment Bill, which I participated because I'm in the ICT committee in processing that bill. And it has picked a lot of negative misinformation within the public context. So the first bill was that one of the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Bill, Amendment Bill. By the way, of the 8 bills, 5 of them are private members' bills. The other 3 are government bills. When it is a private member's bill, it means it was being processed by individual members of Parliament. So, and most of them you will see at the end of the day, as I demystify, as I open to help Kenyans understand that there was nothing even to hide. So the first one was the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Amendment Bill 2024, number 41. And the bill was a private member's bill by member of MP for Wajir East, Honorable Aden Dawood Mohammed. And the bill that was being amended, it was to enhance existing provisions in the Act, which prohibited the use of electronic mediums to promote unlawful activities. More so, things like child pornography. 2, terrorism. 3, religious extremism and cultism, cyber harassment, and identity theft and fraud. As I said, we participated in processing this specific bill because it is of great interest. As a young person, as a young Kenyan, we are not going to pass bills that are, or laws that are going to affect us negatively or not promote our ability to interact as a society. The new definitions that were introduced on that particular time when we were doing the processing included computer misuse, what is cybercrime, assets, identity theft, and virtual account. This was basically to be able to assist the government agencies in trying to trace, freeze, and recover sometimes the proceeds of the cyber crimes. The other thing that we did is we also looked at where do we pick a place where we can be able to empower probably an institution like the National Computer and Cybercrime Coordination Committee, where they could issue a directive to render websites, and particularly the websites we were keen about were those of child pornography, that they render those applications inaccessible, where it is proved that the website or the applications promotes unlawful activities, child pornography, terrorism, and religious extremism, as well as cultism. We also empowered the courts to order the removal of the unlawful or extremist content from a platform or device in the event of successful prosecution of an offender. I think that is very clear, very important for Kenyans to understand, that it had to go through a court process because there was no law around this space. And then again, we wanted to enhance the cyber harassment to cover instances where perpetrators knows that their conduct is likely to cause persons to commit suicide. Kenyans understand, and I've attended a burial of young people who have been taken through some apps where you are being taken through a process until sometimes you kill yourself, you hang yourself. These are some of the challenges that are happening within our young people that we thought also it is important to predict that if what you are doing is likely, or there are people that have been caused to lose their lives, and I can confirm there are some that have lost their lives that have attended their burials again because of engaging on these social media spaces. And we thought it is also important to bring this into the space of law so that people who do such things can actually get a deterrence. Lastly, we also brought in the discussion, there was in the previous law of 2018, it talked only about fishing. But we thought the many things that have been happening of late is there we have issues of swim swaps. And all of you are aware. So we were able to bring now into the law that aspect of identity theft committed through email and phone calls, especially in light of prevalence of SIM swaps, which is happening across. I want to mention very clearly that the new amended law is in line with the best practice in regulating access to harmful online content in the UK and the US, in particular regarding the child pornography and extremism, and will also facilitate tracing, freezing, and recovery of proceeds of the cybercrime in the country. Now listen, in UK and US, at the moment, the issue of child pornography laws have been tightened. And Kenya in Africa is one of the leading countries that has the greatest penetration of internet and internet utilization. So we do not want Kenya to be a place where those criminals from out there that have been making billions of shillings will come and do the child pornography in our nation, and there is no safeguard. So we said, we need, if you are the one who is participating and you've been probably taken to the court of law and you've been found that yes, yourself you've been participating in child pornography, that we are able to trace the monies or the proceeds of such, and we are able to pin you down. So that is basically what that particular amendment were keen on. It was limited. I want to also make it clear to all Kenyans. I heard some people saying they want to go to court. In 2018, if you look at the history, when this law came into force, there are institutions including Blockers Association of Kenya, amongst others, they went to court. The High Court suspended a number of those sections of the law, which I think went through amendment over time, but the Court of Appeal later brought back some, because it is important also, ladies and gentlemen, to find a way that we put some safeguards. We cannot just open it completely, you know, that people can misuse and we can lose lives, and some bit of control for our own children, that we just don't open that space. And I know over time, as it continues to have dynamics on the same, there will be changes as we go along.